Hi everybody, my name is Caitlin McGuire and I am an English learner teacher at Dr. Charles R. Drew Elementary School. Today we are going to be working on some phonemic awareness activities. For these activities you won't need any materials. All you will need are your hands to do the motions along with me, your ears, and your voice. All right, are you ready? Okay, let's get started. Our first activity, we are going to be adding phonemes to parts of words or adding sounds to our parts of words. I'll do the first one and then we can try the rest together. Okay? Here we go. So for example, if I said able, and you would repeat and say able, and then if I said add t to the beginning and the word is table. Nice job. Let's try some more. Under, add w to the beginning and the word is wonder. You got it. Ager, add to the beginning and the word is major. Nice. Evel, add ul to the beginning and the word is level. You got it. Asic, add b to the beginning and the word is basic. Nice. Fine, add d to the beginning and the word is define. Nice. That was a tricky one. Ursive, add k to the beginning and the word is cursive. Excellent job. Okay, for our next activity, this time we are going to be taking away or deleting sounds from our words. Again, I will do the first one so you can see what to do, and then it will be your turn to try it with me. All right, here we go. So, for example, if my word is tiger, and you would repeat and say tiger, without the t, what's left is iger, okay? All right, let's try some more. Fashion, without the f, what's left is ashen. Nice job. Tiger, without the t, what's left is iger. You got it. Whisper, without the w, what's left is isper. There you go. Cable, without the k, what's left is able. Good job. Partner, without the p, what's left is artner. You got it. Laser, without the ul, what's left is azer. Nice work. Okay. For our next activity, this time we are going to be substituting or changing parts of our words. Today we're going to be changing the beginning sound of our word, okay? Again, I'll do the first one and then you can try the rest with me. All right, so for example, if I said the word sandal and you repeat sandal and I say change the s to h and the word is handle. Nice job. All right, let's try some more. Money, change the to s and the word is sunny. Nice job. Daughter, change the d to w and the word is water. You got it. Camper, change the k to h and the word is hamper. Nice. Packet, change the p to j and the word is jacket. You got it. Sharing, change the sh to k and the word is caring. Nice job. Middle, change the to f and the word is fiddle. Nice. Wizard, change the w to ul and the word is lizard. Good. Potion, change the p to and the word is motion. You got it. Simple, Change the S to D, and the word is dimple. Excellent. Quarter. Change the Qu to B, and the word is border. Excellent job. All right, that was our phonemic awareness activities for today. You did an excellent job working, and I hope to see you again next time.
Hi readers, my name is Miss Hygis, but you can call me Megan. Today I am here to talk with you about phonics. Phonics is matching the sounds that you hear in language, in words, to the letters that represent those sounds. So, knowing phonics and the tricks of phonics will help you to read longer, trickier words. Have you ever been with someone who said like, oh, there's something behind your ear, what is that? And then they reached up and pulled out a coin? You're like, whoa, that's magic, how did you do that? Well, it's not magic, it's just a trick. And phonics has tricks to it too. So today I want to teach you one of those tricks. The trick is how to know where to break a word into the syllable to help you read it. Okay? First, let's review some of the vowel sounds. So here are our vowels, A, E, I, O, and U. And sometimes Y, but I didn't include that today. All right, so here are the vowel sounds. The short sounds and the long. So, short A sounds like ah, like it does in astronaut. Ah. Your mouth is really wide as you make that sound. Go ahead and make that sound. Ah. Long A sounds like its name. A, as in apron. Okay? Then you have eh. Short E sounds like eh. Your mouth is not quite as wide as it is for short A. Eh. Go ahead and make that sound. Eh. Like an egg. Then we have E as in easel. That's the long E sound. Okay? Short I is I, like inchworm. I. Your mouth is kind of longer. I. Go ahead and make that sound. I. Long I is I, like an ice. Short O is ah, like an octopus. Ah, your mouth makes a circle. Make that sound. Ah, octopus. And long O sounds like O, like oval. Short U sounds like you've gotten hit in the stomach. Like an umpire. And long U is U, like in unicorn. All right, so now that we've reviewed the vowel sounds, let's figure out how this is going to help us to decode longer words, since you're more advanced readers. All right, so here's a word you might know. Okay? One way to help you know where to break this word is to first locate the vowels. So let's find the vowels. Let's see, A, E, I, O, U. Here's a vowel. I'm going to put a V on top. Here's another vowel. Put a V on top of that. Every other letter, if it's not a vowel, is called a consonant. Okay? P, Q, T, B, consonants. So let's label the consonants that are between the vowels. Consonant starts with C, so I'll label C, C. Okay, now here's the trick. When you have a word that's got a VCCV pattern, vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel pattern, you can break the word between the consonants. And this first vowel is always going to be the short vowel sound. Okay, so short O is like it is in octopus. Ah. That will help you to read this first syllable in the word, the first part. So this is goss, goss. Then you only have to figure out the second part. Gossip, gossip. And gossip is talk that you probably shouldn't do. It's sometimes talking about someone in not a very nice way. So try not to do it, but that's how you would read it. All right, let's try another one. Here's one. All right, let's start with the vowels. You see a vowel? Shout it out. Yep, there it is. The E's a vowel. See another one? Yep. And then the letters in between are both consonants. So you would break it between the consonants. This first vowel in this first syllable is going to be a short vowel, like an egg. So this is fret, fret. And add the second syllable, ted, fretted. Fretted, if you fretted about something, you worried about it. It's a synonym for worried. Okay, so readers, as you're reading your own books today, if you get to a tricky word, write it down and try to find the vowels, label them, and then see what's between them. If it's two consonants between the vowels, you know to break the word there to help you read it. All right, happy reading.
Hello, friends, and welcome to At Home with APS Breaking News Desk. Today in Writer's Workshop, I'm joined with Miss Lila Ross, an upper elementary school teacher at the Montessori Public School of Arlington. My name is Sharon Stutzman, and I'm one of the reading teachers there. Today we're going to focus on monarch butterflies, and we're going to read an excellent book about it. We're also going to focus our mind on some key vocabulary words: metamorphosis, molting, pupa, and chrysalis. Notice around me that there are lots of resources if you choose to search out more information on this subject. So today our focus in writing, though, is on details. So let's pay attention to the details and the vocabulary as we move forward in our lesson. We're going to start with a book called The Butterfly Life Cycle by Torin Anderson. You can find this book in Raz Plus. Notice on the front cover we have a photograph of a monarch butterfly. On the first page, we're offered a focus question: what is the life cycle of a monarch butterfly? As we move forward, there are some words to know, such as larva, life cycle, mate, molting, pupa, and stages. I put some highlighter on a few of them that I thought might be important. The book offers us a table of contents. In it, it offers the life cycle on page 4, egg 5, pupa 9, adult butterfly 11, and a glossary on page 16. Are you getting a clue as to what type of book this is? On the first page, it tells us about the life cycle. It looks almost like a circle, doesn't it, with arrows pointing from the egg to the caterpillar to the pupa to the adult butterfly. I highlighted a lot of these words. A monarch butterfly has 4 stages in its life cycle. They are egg, caterpillar, pupa, and adult. A butterfly's body goes through big changes at each stage in its development. The next portion of the book is about an egg. So it started with the whole, and now it is moving to its parts. So let's notice. In this particular page, it shows us the egg, and then it shows us something else. A female monarch butterfly lays an oval-shaped egg on the bottom of a leaf. She might lay several hundred eggs in her lifetime. A caterpillar or larva grows inside the tiny egg. The egg hatches in 3 to 12 days. Why do you think I highlighted some of these things? Well, we may need them later. Remember, we said we were going to focus on some vocabulary words? So often, when you're asked to read something, it's wise to take a few notes or use a highlighter so you can go back. Notice I didn't highlight the whole thing, just things I thought might be important. The hungry caterpillar eats constantly. It needs a lot of food to grow. First, the caterpillar eats its own eggshell. It also eats any other eggs on the same leaf. Then, the caterpillar eats the leaf it is on. I think this guy is hungry. Caterpillar eats constantly. The caterpillar grows quickly, but its skin does not grow. The caterpillar's old skin splits and peels away in a process called molting. The caterpillar will shed its old skin many times in this stage. The time between each molting is called an instar. The caterpillar puts down sticky silk. The silk keeps the old skin in place while the caterpillar wiggles out of it. Molting. Peels away. Might need that later. Did you know monarch caterpillars only eat the leaves of milkweed plants? The caterpillar's bright black and yellow colors warn animals that they will get sick if they eat it. New skin is under the old skin. It is soft at first but soon hardens. The caterpillar sheds its skin 4 to 6 times and eats the old skin each time. The caterpillar grows for 2 to 4 weeks. The more it eats, the more it can grow after each molting. The more it eats, the more it can grow. Okay. Pupa. The caterpillar's skin splits down its back like a zipper. When the caterpillar is grown, it hangs from a branch to prepare for the biggest change of all. It molts one last time. The new skin is bright and green and resembles a leaf. That's the pupa, right? Okay. The green skin hardens around the caterpillar to protect it from predators as it changes inside. The caterpillar becomes a pupa or chrysalis. Important. It will stay inside its shell for 1 to 2 weeks. During this time, its body is completely transformed. Adult butterfly. An adult butterfly emerges from the shell. Its wet wings are folded against the body. Notice it's clear, almost transparent now. The butterfly breathes air to make its body bigger. Then the shell splits so that the butterfly can climb out. Folded. The butterfly must hang upside down to rest and gain strength, or it will not be able to fly. Blood pumping into the wings causes them to unfold and spread out. Okay, I didn't know it had blood. The butterfly hangs for several hours. The sun and air dry its delicate wings. The butterfly has 2 pairs of wings that are covered in scales. The wings in the front often have a slightly different pattern than the pair in the back. When a butterfly rests, it holds its wings up. The color on the wings is usually similar to each other. Once the butterfly is able to fly, it flies off to eat. Unlike the caterpillar, the butterfly does not eat leaves. It sips nectar from flowers and it searches for a mate. It does not eat leaves. It sips nectar and searches for a mate. Notice too that the author and the illustrator gave us a whole picture of the adult butterfly, and then they also gave a small one. Let's see what the caption says. Monarch butterflies drink nectar, a sweet liquid made by plants, with a long tongue shaped like a tube. There it is right there. It is very long, isn't it? Looks like a straw. Adult butterflies do not grow. They conserve their energy for flying and laying eggs. Females are usually bigger than males and have wider stripes on their wings. The last monarchs of the season will migrate or move. Migrate means to move. To a warmer place in the late summer. These few butterflies will survive the winter until they can return home and find a mate. A monarch butterfly usually lives for 2 to 6 weeks. After she finds a mate, the female lays her eggs and starts the butterfly life cycle all over again. And then we're offered a glossary. A glossary provides definitions of each one of these words. And so it helps us to know. Now, we know that molting was on our list. We know pupa was on our list. And I think life cycle was on the list too. So we may need this later. Have you guessed? The Butterfly Life Cycle is a nonfiction book. If that's what you guessed, you were correct. Back to the breaking news desk. Here we are back at our desk. Breaking news. Wait, I'm sorry, I have to take this call. Oh dear. Yep. Well, I'm afraid to tell you folks that we have an emergency situation with Sarah. Sarah has sent in a writing assignment and she needs some help. Mrs. Ross is going to give her a little bit of guidance in what we should do. So let's move forward and see how we can help Sarah. Remember in our writing, friends, that it's all about the details. Details, details, details. This is a way that we elaborate our writing by including details to support the purpose. So Sarah had this project. Write an explanation of the life cycle of a monarch butterfly. Please use these keywords: metamorphosis, pupa, chrysalis, migration. We're going to show Sarah a few strategies. We use strategies because it's a way for a writer to check their writing to ensure that it makes sense. Today we're going to talk about a couple of them. The first one is underline. What's a fact that could use more detail? A definition. Are words clearly understood? An example. Sometimes the order or sequence helps make the details clearer. Pull to part, sequencing. Use the mentor text and/or other sources, and always reread your work. So let's talk about what Sarah needs to make her writing more complete. Monarchs are butterflies. They have a life cycle. This transformation is called metamorphosis. They have wings, but they didn't start that way. A monarch is a type of species that migrates. Well, I can see she has one word that she was supposed to use, and that's metamorphosis. And she's starting to explain the life cycle, but I don't see what it actually means. So let's move on. Let's look over her draft a little more for areas that could use more detail and underline them. So for example, monarchs are butterflies. They have a life cycle. So life cycle is not defined. I don't know what it means here. So let's underline that. The first strategy is that you underline things that need more detail, and then you ask yourself a question. Does it need a definition, an example, or just more information? So, they have a life cycle. Definitely needs a definition because we don't know exactly what life cycle means here. Sarah didn't tell us. They have wings, but they don't start that way. Okay. Well, tell me more. I want to know more about it. Wings doesn't tell me what happens in a life cycle. The monarch is a particular type of a butterfly that migrates. Well, if you remember, our text didn't give us a lot of information on migration, so we might have to have more information here. Second strategy, definition. What does it mean? You could look it up in a dictionary, like Merriam-Webster. In this case, it says, a life cycle is the series of stages in form and functional activity through which an organism passes between successive recurrences and a specified primary stage. Ugh, that was a mouthful. Where else could we find information? Of course, our mentor text. It said it in a couple of places, both in the glossary where it defined it and within the text itself. So if you were taking notes, you might have something like this. A monarch has 4 stages in its life cycle. They are the egg, caterpillar, pupa, and adult. Butterfly's body goes through big changes at each stage in its development. So we can add that in our own words as a definition. So they have a life cycle, a series of changes that occur in the lifespan of a living thing. Now, for the next part, they have wings, but they don't start that way. Our third strategy is an example. We can add proper order of details, like whole to part or sequence. If you remember, in our book, it started with the whole, the life cycle, and then it moved to the part. We already talked about the life cycle, so now we need to move to the examples. So we can look at our book for some of that. Going back to the text, going back to our text, we can go to the pages and figure out some things that might be helpful in our writing. So for example, we learned that it starts with the egg and it's pretty tiny. We learned that it moves into a caterpillar and it eats its own shell. Then we learned that the caterpillar starts to molt where its skin peels away. Then we learned that it does this about 4 to 6 times. And then it moves to a pupa and it makes that green shell. Then it changes to the adult butterfly, and remember the wings became filled with blood. So now if we put that in our own words, we can add something like this. The monarch begins as a tiny egg. This egg hatches into a caterpillar called a larva. After a lot of eating, the caterpillar changes into a chrysalis, which emerges into an adult butterfly. Now, you know you could add a lot more detail than that, but that's kind of a good beginning. This transformation is called a metamorphosis, was the next thing that we underlined. But we know about metamorphosis from science, so we're going to skip that and move on to the next part. The monarch is a particular type of butterfly that migrates. In this case, we need more information. So the fourth strategy is research to grow the details. Research means you have to find different sources. We looked at our mentor text, but the mentor text only told us that the last monarchs of the season will migrate or move to a warmer place. It didn't really give us a whole lot more detail than that. So what do? We need to search. So let's go back to the research desk for more in-depth reporting. Here we are. So we have lots of choices. We can go to Science News for Students, Tween Tribune. We can try Newsella. We can talk to our librarian and get some information from Mac and Via. Let's see what we've done for this project. Ah, yes, Newsella. So, in this article called Climate Change Playing Havoc with Monarch Butterfly Migration, we actually ended up using something from a caption. Remember, in our mentor text, the captions held a lot of information. That's true of most things that offer captions. It's there to provide the detail. In this case, it tells us that every year, millions of monarch butterflies migrate to the same remote stretch of forest in central Mexico, an event scientists have long thought of as a great wonder of the insect world. Now, however, the migration and the species itself are under threat from climate change. Our second source came from Science News for Kids. In this article called Will Climate Change Depose Monarchs? Monarch butterflies fly great distances to spend their winters in warm places. Some of them spend their summers in the western United States and Canada. Later, they migrate to beaches in California during the winter. Monarchs east of the Rockies bask in the Mexican sun all winter. Some 200 million butterflies make the trip every year. Our last one is from Tween Tribune. This is an e-magazine put out through Smithsonian. In this article, This Year Monarchs Cover a Little More Ground by Mark Stevenson, it said, each year the butterflies make a migration from Canada to Mexico. They find the same pine and fir forest to spend the winter. What's amazing is that they find their way. So now we have lots of information, and you took notes as you were looking at them so that you can turn this into the very last sentence. So we learned just little pieces, and we need to put it in an organized manner. Every year, the monarch butterfly migrates to the same forest in central Mexico. 200 million butterflies make this trip every year. So those two pieces of information came from our reading. It's not a lot, is it, ladies and gentlemen? It's just a small amount. You can even add more detail to this. Then the closing sentence says, until now, it is a mystery as to how they know to gather in these same key spots every year. Notice that we started with monarchs or butterflies, and we are ending with a conclusion sentence. Back at the desk. Sounds really great, guys. I think you're doing a good job. So let's move on to our last strategy. It's time to reread. Monarchs are butterflies. They have a life cycle. A life cycle is a series of changes that occur in the lifespan of a living thing. Monarchs have wings, but they don't start that way. The monarch begins as a tiny egg. This egg hatches into a caterpillar called a larva. After a lot of eating, the caterpillar molts into a chrysalis, also called a pupa, which emerges into an adult butterfly. This transformation is called metamorphosis. The monarch is a particular type of butterfly that migrates. Every year, the monarch butterfly migrates from as far as Canada all the way to the mountains of central Mexico. As many as 200 million butterflies make this trip every year. The monarch butterfly is an amazing insect that has many unique features. Notice that I went back after the project was done, after rereading my draft for the last time, and I noticed that I was missing the word molt. Molting was one of our key words that was in our assignment. So always double check your assignment before you finish. I also changed the conclusion sentence, and I made it say, the monarch butterfly is an amazing insect. I made it sound a little bit more like the first sentence because all we had in the first sentence is butterfly, and this kind of reflects it again and says why it was a very amazing insect. So we made it to publication. So we've helped Sarah to finish her project, and she was successful. She can publish and move on to the next thing. We're really happy for Sarah. She's done a great job. She used all 4 words, and she was able to complete her assignment. Now it's your turn to fly. You can find the Butterfly Life Cycle Level N in Raz Plus. Reread the book, and you try the writing assignment from Mrs. Ross. You can share it with your teacher. If you want to know more, think about the resources we learned about today at the Breaking News Desk or contact your school librarian. So, write an explanation of the life cycle of a monarch butterfly. Please use these key words: metamorphosis, pupa, chrysalis, migration. After writing your draft, try these strategies. First, underline. What's a fact that could use more detail? Second, definition. Is there a word that would be better understood if you told what it means? Third, order. Sometimes the order or the sequence helps the details become clearer, like whole to part or sequencing. Reread. Ask yourself how. Did I do all the things that my teacher was looking for? Next, use the mentor text or do more research, and always reread your work. All right, your turn to fly away to your favorite writing corner and begin working on your project. And remember, it's all in the details. Special credits and thanks go to Mrs. Lila Ross from the Montessori Public School of Arlington for sharing her knowledge on monarch butterflies, to Mrs. Lisa Pentland from Gunston Middle School of Arlington for sharing her knowledge of Bitmoji, scenes and templates, and to Denise Nasada for the newsroom template. I'm Sharon Stutzman from the Montessori Public School of Arlington, and I'm so happy to have spent this time with you doing writing workshop at home. Have a great day.
Hi, everybody. This is Ms. Metz. I'm currently a 4th grade teacher at Barcroft Elementary. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be exploring the math concepts of equality, and we're going to take a look at what that might look like, and we're going to be solving some equations and finding what a missing variable might be. But before we begin, let's get warmed up with the number sense you may be familiar with. It's called Would You Rather. In this number sense routine, Would You Rather, you're going to be presented with two situations, and you're going to get to choose which one you would rather have, and be sure to always explain your thinking why. Would you rather have the bowl of grapes on the left or the bowl of grapes on the right? What makes you say that?
I would choose these bowl of grapes because there's 5 in them, and I love grapes a lot. But I wouldn't choose this one because these are halves and there's only 3. 1, 2 halves, which is equal 1. So it's 1, 2, 3. And there's an extra 1 half there. But here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 here. 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5. So I'd rather pick the bowl on the right.
Great job, Karad, of sharing your reasoning with us. That sure does seem to make a lot of sense. For our next Would You Rather, we're going to hear from Simon. Take it away, Simon.
For this question, the question was, would you rather have 3 pencils that are 9 centimeters each or 5 pencils that are 6 centimeters each? So what I did was I multiplied the 3 pencils by the 9 centimeters, and that would be 27 centimeters. But then I multiplied the 5 pencils by the 6 centimeters, and that was 30 centimeters. So I would take the 5 pencils that are 6 centimeters each because there's just more centimeters and I can write longer.
The strand of math that we're going to be looking at today is a strand called Patterns, Functions, and Algebra. And in this strand, we're going to be knowing that we're successful. Our success target would be if we can show equality in an equation, and if we're going to start to be able to use variables in an equation. So these SOLs are taken some from 4th grade and some from 5th grade. But first, before we begin looking at some equalities, let's take a look at some vocabulary that we might be using today. The first term that you're going to be hearing us talk about and we're going to be using is the term expression. You can say that with me. Expression. An expression in math is defined as a representation of a quantity. So it's just an amount that we're representing. 4 could be an expression representing 4 all in 1. 2 and 2 could be another expression. It has the value or the quantity of 4. We could even have an expression with a variable, n plus 1. A lot of times, mathematicians will use parentheses, that symbol, to show an expression, and that just means everything is grouped all together. So, another term we're going to be talking about is the term equation. Say that with me. Equation. An equation is a statement that the values of 2 mathematical expressions are equal. Remember, we were looking at expressions before, so an equation has 2 equal expressions. For example, 4 times 8, that expression, is equal or the same as 8. Here's another one. 8 is equal to or the same as 4 times 2. Those are equations because they have an equal sign. Here's another equation. 3 plus 2 is equal to 5 times 1. Those equations all have equal signs. So today we're going to be looking at equations and trying to see if there's equality or a balance between the two sides of an equation. Our next term that we're going to be talking about is the word variable. Say that with me. Variable. A variable is a symbol used to represent an unknown quantity or an amount. In math, a lot of times mathematicians will use a letter as the symbol to represent something that they don't know, just a number that they don't know. Let's take a look at some variables. The letter T could be used as a variable, maybe for if you're talking about the number of tables in a room. You would just put the letter T for that amount. You could have n plus 1. You see there in that picture, what does that make you think of? Does it make you think of a balance or things that are equal? Our next term is equality. Say that with me. Equality. Equality is a relationship that has the same value. So today we're going to be successful if we can recognize equations that have equality or making them balanced. We can see here we're using the parentheses 4 times 2 is the same as 8 times 1. Both sides have equality. We're going to review equalities, and you may have remembered that we can use the equal sign or the unequal sign to show an inequality, an equation that is not the same. Let's take a look. Is that equal to or not equal to 7 plus 3? Well, we know that the expression 3 plus 4 is equal to 7, and 7 plus 3, that part of the equation, that expression is equal to 10. Well, 7 is not equal to 10, so we would put an inequality sign there. Here's another one. 6 plus 5. Is that equal to or not equal to 15 minus 4? Well, we know 6 plus 5 is 11, and 15 minus 4 is 11. So we would say these are equal. This expression shows an equality. Let's take a look at some more equalities. Are they true or false? What do you think? You could use your finger for a true or a false, or you could just say it out loud. 9 equals 9. Is that true or false? You got it. That's true. 13 plus 21 equals 13 plus 22. True or false? That one is false. 13 plus 21 can't be the same as 13 plus 22. That would be imbalanced or unequal. That is false. Jog your brain on this one. 37 plus 28. Does that equal 27 plus 38? True or false? You got it. That one's true. 3 tens and 2 tens on the left side of the equation, 2 tens and 3 tens, they would be equal. 7 ones and 8 ones is also going to balance or be equal to 7 ones and 8 ones. So those are equal. That's a true equation. For our last example, I'm telling you this time that this is going to be a true equation that shows an equality. So this time we're using the variable, the letter n. Maybe we're thinking about the number of tacos. So the number of tacos, there were 26 tacos and you subtracted 16. 26 minus 16, that has to be the same as 27 minus n, our variable there. What would n equal to make this equality true? Well, we know 26 minus 16 is 10, so we need 10 to be on this side of our equation. So for this example with the variable, we would solve n equals 17 because 26 minus 16 is 10, and 27 minus 17 is 10. So this time we were solving the equality by solving for that variable n. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to have some more practice with equalities. You may notice there is a calculator icon. If you feel more comfortable using a calculator, you may, although most of these problems can be solved just by using some mental math. 46 plus 77 is going to be equal to 44 plus what? That's right, it's 79. I was just using some mental math. I was thinking that 46 is just 2 more than 44, so there was 2 less over here, so I needed to make it 2 more than 77. If you don't believe me, you could always check your answer. 46 plus 77 is 123, and 44 plus 79 is also 123. Good work. Let's take a look at another example. Let's read the directions together. What number is missing? Let's read our directions together for the next example. Find the missing variable. We can see we have the letter R as the variable in this equality. On the left side, we know 46 plus 28. When we do some mental math, we know that's equal to 74. So we want the expression on the right side to also be equal to 74. Well, we know that 27 plus 50 is 77, so we need to go back 3 to get to 74. So we know that R is our missing variable. In this case, we would solve R equals 3 to make our equation true. Let's try one more. Find the missing variable. 9 times 8 is going to be equal to 9 times 10 minus z. Z is that variable. That's right. 9 times 8 is 72. Well, 9 times 10 is 90. So we have to get back to 72. So we're going to subtract. How many would we need to take away? That's right. We need to take away 18. The missing variable, z, in this case, z would be equal to 18. Okay, so you may be thinking to yourself, what connections do we have between equality of equations and our everyday life? And so I thought, what better way to think about that than in the grocery store when you're grocery shopping? So you may notice that I can see in the store today that we have some grapes on sale, and they're on sale for about $1.50 a pound. I'm estimating here, about rounding, about $1.50 a pound. And our cherries are on sale for about $3 a pound. And when I think about that, sometimes I think like, oh, okay, $3 and $1.50, the grapes are going to be less expensive because $1.50 is less than $3, but I have to remember it's per pound. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these grapes and cherries over to the balance or the scale, and I'm going to weigh them and see how much they're going to be. So let's go ahead over to that scale. So you may never have even used this scale in the grocery store, but we can see that it measures in both kilograms and pounds. So the pounds are in the black on the outside, and if I weigh the cherries, our cherries weigh about 1.5 pounds. So I'm going to do some thinking. $3 a pound, 1.5 pounds would be $1.50 for that half a pound. These cherries are going to cost me $4.50. Remember that. Is that going to be more than, less than, or equal to our grapes? Let's take a look. We can see that we have about 2.5 pounds of grapes. Well, if it's $1.50 for 1 pound, that would be $3 for 2 pounds, and then a half pound would be 75 cents, $3.75. So I've been doing some math, and I see that, in fact, the grapes, $3.75 is going to be less expensive than $4.50 for my cherries. So this is a better value, but this is a better value. A lot more grapes for that. Cherries are expensive. Anyway, good work today in your math, and remember to keep exploring. Take care.
Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today I want to introduce you to the problem-solving steps. You may have learned this from your school counselor. Check out this music video to learn more about the problem-solving steps.
Here's a great way to remember. Keep it strong in your head, yeah. After the storm of strong emotions, here's the way to solve the problem, yeah. I said step. I just remember to step. Oh, giant. You say the problem out loud now. Nothing solutions that may work and how. Explore consequences, what would happen if. Now pick the best solution and make your plan, yeah. You got to step up to be cool, yeah. S-T-E-P. Give your power now. After the storm of strong emotion. S-T-E-P. Solve the problem now. Now listen to me, all you good people. There's nothing wrong with strong emotion. But after you calm it down, you still got a problem, see? Now you gotta fix it. And you can. Oh, you step up. Let me show ya. Say you're in line and a kid come cuts in front of ya. Whoa, that make you mad, brothers and sisters. So feel it and calm it and take another look, yeah. Whoa, let me show you now. You see the problem out loud now. You both want to be first in line. No blame. Now think solutions that may work and how. Now these gotta be safe and respectful. No pushing, no shoving. See? Explore consequences. What would happen if? How will other people feel? How will you feel? Will it work? Now pick the best solution and make your plan, yeah. Choose it and act on it. You got to step up to be cool, yeah. S-T-E-P. Give your power now. After the storm of strong emotion. S-T-E-P. Solve the problem now. You say the problem out loud now. Now think solutions that may work on how. Explore consequences, what would happen if. Now pick the best solution and make your plan, yeah. You got to step. I just remember to step. Oh, giant, say you wanna step. You got to step. Oh yeah, step.
Did anyone notice what comes after the P step? Pick the best solution. Make your plan. Sound familiar to last week? We use planning skills when we're solving problems, setting goals, and tackling school projects and assignments. Sometimes the solution to a problem is simple. For example, two brothers wanted to play a video game, could go through the problem-solving steps, and decide the best solution was to take turns playing. That's a one-step, simple solution. But other times, the best solution to a problem is not so simple. To solve a more complicated problem, you need a plan. Making a plan involves breaking down a large task into smaller steps. As you watch the next video, look for how Lydia makes a plan to carry out the solution to her problem.
This whole thing started with this awesome necklace Maria's aunt sent her. Isn't it cool? I've never seen anything like it. It's made out of paper. Anyway, she saw how much I liked it, and she lent it to me to wear to this party. Totally cool. That's a good friend. But then things went bad. Really bad. On the way home from the party, it started to rain. Like, complete downpour. I wasn't wearing a coat or anything, and the paper necklace was ruined. I mean, we're talking way beyond repair. I really started to panic. Huge problem. Mia's gonna be so mad. She'll never talk to me again. What was I gonna do? Well, I knew that first of all, I needed to calm down. So I did some deep breathing. Then I thought to myself, okay, the problem is the beads are ruined. What should I do? Tell her it got stolen? Tell her my dog ate it? She was so cool to lend it to me. I couldn't lie to her. It would be really disrespectful and wrong. I decided I had to come clean. But it was complicated. There were a lot of things to do to make this right. So I made a plan and wrote it down.
All right. So what is Lydia's problem? She ruined Maria's necklace. And which solution to the problem does she pick? She decides to make things right and tell Maria the truth about what happened. Is this a one-step solution? No. What did Lydia do to figure out how to carry out the solution? She made a plan and wrote it down. How would writing down her plan help Lydia? Well, writing down our plan can help us remember what to do. It could also help her check off each part of the plan as she finishes it. And she could also use her written down plan to show someone else and see if it makes sense. Lydia's solution is a little complicated. She needs to break down the plan into smaller parts. What do you think makes a good plan? This should sound familiar from last week. The order should make sense. There's enough time to do it. It's not too complicated. It's realistic and you're able to do it. Now let's see how Lydia's plan works.
There were a lot of things to do to make this right, so I made a plan and wrote it down. It wasn't going to be easy, but it was doable. First, I do a little digging and find out how these beads in this necklace were made. Turns out, all I needed was glue, scissors, magazines, and string. Then, I'd gather the supplies. I'd ask my mom to take me to the store if I needed to buy anything, like glue. Then, I need to sit down and make these beads. It's important to me to make sure they looked really good. I didn't care how long it took. They'd be a little different, but they had to be cool. Then, I had to tell Maria. Yikes. It really bummed her out that I wrecked the necklace, but she understood it was an accident. It all worked out. Maria forgave me. She loved the new necklace and wanted to know how I did it. Now we're making them together. Now that's a great friend.
Lydia took the time to write down her plan. She researched how to make the necklace. She broke down a big task into smaller steps. The order of her plan made sense. She had enough time to do it, and it wasn't too complicated. Remember, making a plan helps you figure out how to make something happen.
It helps you break down a big task into smaller parts. If you're getting stuck trying to reach your summer school goal, try editing your plan. Maybe you need to break down your steps into smaller chunks. Maybe you need to talk with your teacher or an adult about your plan to see if it makes sense. I know you can do it. See you next week.